Have you ever looked at an image and felt, with a strange certainty, that you've seen it before though you cannot recall where or when? As symbol, a pattern, a silent eye that caused your heart to pause, just for a breath, as if something ancient had stirred. This is not coincidence. In the teachings of Buddhism, and in the quiet halls of depth psychology, we learn that symbols are not mere designs. They are portals, gateways into the subconscious, into the layered memory of the soul. They carry echoes from lives once lived, from truths once known, and from karmic threads still woven into who we are today. So when you feel drawn to a symbol without reason, without thought, it may be because a part of your being remembers. It may be the voice of old karma whispering, "I am still here, and your lesson is still unfolding." Today, I invite you to do more than simply watch a video. I invite you to enter a quiet space of inner recognition, a sacred game of awakening. A moment of silent dialogue between who you believe you are and who you have always been. This is not a game in the way the world understands games. There are no winners or losers here, only remembrance. What we are about to begin is a quiet encounter with your own unseen self. A sacred moment of recognition. You will be invited to choose, not from thought, but from the wisdom that lives beneath thought. This is a game of intuition, of energy, of karma, gentle yet profound. It is very simple. Before you, there will appear 4 ancient spiritual symbols. They are not random. Each one carries a distinct energetic field, subtle yet powerful. Each is woven with a unique karmic thread, echoing through the timeless journey of your soul. One may speak to your need for healing. Another may reflect a pattern you've lived again and again. A third may call to the awakening that stirs beneath your daily life. And another may reveal your power to create, to shape your reality with thought and intention. All you are asked to do is to listen. Close your eyes. Take one deep breath, slow and full. Let that breath carry you inward, past the mind, past the noise, to the still point within. Now, let the surface of your mind become still, like the surface of a quiet lake at dawn. No thought, no effort. Only awareness. Only presence. And when you feel that your mind has grown silent, gently open your eyes again. Do not try to choose. Do not think, compare, or evaluate. Simply notice which symbol draws you in. Which one stirs something in you, not as a loud voice, but as a quiet pool. Not the most beautiful, not the most dramatic, but the one that makes your soul lean forward. That is your symbol. Don't choose with the mind. Let the heart respond. Let the soul answer. For the truth is this: your intuition already knows. Your unconscious remembers. The symbol you are drawn to is the one that has been walking beside you all along, waiting for this moment. So begin. Quietly. Honestly. Not to find something new, but to remember something ancient. So, have you chosen your symbol? Hold it gently in your mind, like a whisper, like a quiet thread of intuition. Let its shape rest in your awareness, without needing to understand it just yet. Because now, we begin. Let us explore the meaning behind the symbol you were drawn to and what it might be trying to awaken within you. If your heart was drawn to the white lotus, then perhaps it is not by chance, but by remembrance. The white lotus does not bloom in clear water. It rises from the mud-thrown darkness, from sorrow, from the places no one else wants to enter. And yet, it does not carry the mud with it. It brings only beauty, only silence, only light. This is your symbol. And this is your path. You carry within you a heart that has been broken. Not once, perhaps not even in this lifetime alone. You have known the sting of loss, the ache of absence, The silence that follows after someone you love is no longer there. But instead of allowing that pain to harden you, you allowed it to soften you. You did not close. You opened. You chose the more difficult path, the path of healing. There is a quiet strength in you. A kind that does not shout. A kind that holds space for others even when you are weary. You may be the one others confide in, the one who listens when no one else stays. You may carry the sadness of others like a silent offering, never asking for recognition, never asking for return. This, too, is karma. This, too, is sacred. In lifetimes past, you may have caused hurt. You may have turned away from someone in need. Or perhaps, you yourself were abandoned, left to carry wounds no one else could see. And so, your soul made a vow, this time, I will be the balm, not the blade. The white lotus blooms not to be noticed, but simply because it must. In the same way, you offer your presence. Your kindness is not performance, it is essence. You do not heal with grand gestures, but with the simplest things, a glance, a silence, a willingness to sit beside someone in their pain without trying to fix it. You are here, in this life, not to escape suffering, but to transform it. This is why others are drawn to you. Not because you shine brightly, but because you glow gently. You remind others that it is possible to be wounded and still be whole. So if you chose the white lotus, remember this. The world does not need more noise. It needs presence. It needs people like you who walk slowly, who breathe deeply, who do not rush the healing, but honor the time it takes. Who hold the hands of others in the dark and whisper, I know. I've been here too. You are not here to change the world with force. You are here to soften it one soul at a time. And that is no small thing. Perhaps you are exactly who the world needs right now. If your gaze was drawn to the symbol of the eternal wheel, the cycle without beginning or end, then what you carry is not merely memory, but motion. You are walking through something that has been walked before. You are feeling something that has been felt in lifetimes past. And yet, it keeps returning. A face, a pattern, a wound with the same shape, though it may wear a different name. There is something in your life right now that echoes. It may be a kind of relationship that always ends the same way. A lesson that never seems to stay learned. A dream that collapses again and again, just as you begin to believe in it. And with every return, you ask, why does this keep happening to me? But the wiser question is this: what is life trying to show me that I have not yet seen? This is the karma of repetition. Not punishment. Not fate. But a sacred loop designed not to trap you, but to teach you. You see, karma is not something outside of you. It is not some distant hand pulling the strings. It is you, your tendencies, your reactions, your unresolved fears. Karma lives in the way you speak to yourself when you're alone. In the choices you make without even realizing they are choices. In the silent beliefs you carry about what you deserve, about who you think you are. The wheel turns because you are walking in circles. But the miracle is this: the moment you choose differently, the wheel begins to wobble. The cycle begins to crack. Perhaps in the past, you responded to pain with anger, or withdrew when love became too vulnerable. Perhaps you kept proving your worth to those who never saw you, simply because you could not yet see yourself. But now, if you can hold the same pain in your hands and respond with awareness instead of reaction, if you can witness the same test and meet it with stillness instead of struggle, if you can look at the face of your karma and no longer turn away, then the cycle has already begun to break. To choose the wheel is to stand at a powerful threshold. It is not an easy path, but it is a luminous one. It means your soul is ready. Ready to stop running and start remembering. So, dear one, if this is your symbol, know this. You are not cursed. You are not broken. You are simply being invited to see clearly, compassionately for the very first time. And when the lesson is finally learned, not with the mind, but with the heart, the pattern will dissolve like mist in morning sun. And you will step forward not in a circle, but in a spiral rising. If you were drawn to the symbol of the third eye, then it is likely because there has always been something in you that sees beyond what is visible. Long before others speak, you already sense the truth behind their words. Long before events unfold, you feel the shape of what is to come. It is not a guess. It is not imagination. It is remembering. You were born with a kind of knowing that does not come from books, teachers, or logic. It comes from silence. From lifetimes where your soul sat in stillness, observing the movement of the mind, the suffering of the world, and the truth hidden beneath it all. And that knowing never left you. It only slept beneath the noise of this life, waiting for the moment you would listen again. Perhaps in this lifetime, you have felt misplaced, too sensitive, too intuitive, too different. Perhaps others called you dreamy, emotional, or even strange. But you were never broken. You were simply awake in a world that had forgotten how to see. You noticed patterns others missed. You sensed energies others denied. You heard the subtle tremors beneath words and felt truths that no one dared speak. That is not a weakness. It is the karma of awakening. And it is not always easy. To awaken is not to escape the world, it is to see through it. To see the illusions that bind others. To feel the grief they bury. To recognize the suffering they normalize. The path of awakening is not paved with comfort, it is lit by clarity. And clarity can be painful before it becomes liberating. But the pain is only the shedding of what was never truly yours. If this symbol called to you, it may be because you are now ready to walk through this world with your inner eye open. Not as a seeker of attention, but as a bearer of truth. You no longer need permission to trust your intuition. You no longer need to explain the way your soul feels things before they happen. The universe is inviting you to stop doubting your depth. To stop shrinking your sight to fit into shallow spaces. You were not made to fit in. You were made to remember, and in that remembrance, to bring light to the darkened corners of the human experience. Your intuition is not here to impress. It is here to guide. And as you follow it, you may begin to notice that others awaken simply by being near you, not because you speak loudly, but because you live honestly. There is nothing more magnetic than a soul in alignment with its truth. And that is the path that now lies open before you. So walk it. Not with haste, not with fear, but with reverence. The third eye is not a tool to see the world, it is a mirror to see yourself. And once you truly see yourself, the world will never again appear the same. If the sacred geometry of the mandala called to you, then you are likely someone who carries within them a silent force, a deep, magnetic energy that shapes the world around you in ways you may not fully realize. You are not merely influenced by reality, you influence it. The thoughts you carry, the words you speak, the emotions you hold like breath in a chest, they ripple outward, forming patterns, attracting people, circumstances, and experiences into your life. You have witnessed this already. You have feared something and seen it take form. You have wished for something, perhaps even in passing, and watched as life quietly delivered it to your door. And maybe this has confused you. Maybe it has even frightened you. But now, it is time to understand, you are a creator not by profession, but by nature. This is the karma of manifestation. The karmic thread of those whose inner world does not stay hidden, but spills into the outer world, coloring it. Not everyone carries this energy. Some live as leaves in the wind. But you are the wind. You move, and the world responds. But herein lies your great challenge. When your thoughts are clear, the world reflects clarity. When they are clouded by fear, doubt, or anger, the world mirrors that, too. This is not punishment, it is precision. It is not judgment, it is reflection. So you must live with a higher level of responsibility. You must become aware not only of what you say, but of what you believe when no one is watching. You must watch the stories you repeat in your mind, because those stories are spells. You must enter your emotional state not as a burden, but as the soil from which your reality blooms. To choose this symbol is to be reminded that your life is your canvas and your consciousness is the brush. What you focus on grows. What you speak into being takes root. The energy you emit returns to you, again and again, until you realize that every thought is a seed, and every seed is sacred. But do not be afraid. This is not a curse, it is a calling. You were born with this power because you are meant to remember how to use it well. Not to dominate, not to impress, but to illuminate. The lesson is not to create for the sake of creation, it is to create consciously, lovingly, with reverence for the web of life that holds us all. If you chose the mandala, your soul is now ready to step into this role. The role of the conscious creator. You are no longer allowed to say, "It's just a thought," because you now understand, no thought is just a thought. Everything begins in the unseen. Everything begins in you. So think with intention. Speak with clarity. Act with alignment. Create light not because it is easy, but because it is needed. You are not here to watch the world. You are here to shape it with stillness, with vision, and above all, with love. It does not matter which symbol you chose. What matters is that you paused long enough to listen, to feel, to remember. Whether your heart was drawn to the lotus, the wheel, the third eye, or the mandala, you have already begun the most sacred journey of all, the journey back to yourself. Each symbol is a mirror, reflecting a part of your soul's path. The lotus speaks of healing, of the gentle strength it takes to rise from sorrow without bitterness. The wheel reveals the patterns that repeat until we awaken and break free. The third eye reminds us of the wisdom we carry, the truth that can no longer remain asleep. And the mandala calls forth the creator within, the one who knows that reality is not something to endure, but something to shape. There is no right. There is no wrong. Karma is not a verdict. It is a teacher. And each of us has come into this life carrying a different lesson. Some have come to forgive, some to release, some to awaken, some to create. All are needed. All are sacred. So wherever you are on your path, walk it with mindfulness. Honor the symbol you chose not as an answer, but as a beginning. Let it be a reminder, a companion, a seed that will unfold in its own time. And as you continue forward, remember, the symbol did not give you something you did not already have. It simply showed you what was waiting within you all along. The way home is not far. It is as close as your next breath. And you are already walking it. I once met a woman who chose the white lotus. She didn't know why at first, only that something in its quiet glow called to her. As we spoke, she shared that she had always felt too much. She said, "I cry for people I barely know. I carry their sadness as if it were mine." She had spent most of her life believing that her empathy was a weakness, something that made her fragile in a world that demanded toughness. But when she learned about the karma of healing, something shifted. She began to understand that her sensitivity was not a flaw, it was her gift. Her ability to feel deeply was not a burden, it was the very key to her path. And so, she stopped resisting it. She stopped apologizing for her softness. She began offering it instead. She became a quiet space for others to fall into. She listened without absorbing. She held without holding on. And as she allowed herself to become a vessel of healing for others, something unexpected happened. She started to heal, too. Not because someone saved her, but because in choosing to serve with compassion instead of obligation, she discovered that compassion includes the self. That is the quiet miracle of this work. We think we are giving, but we are also receiving. We think we are helping others, but in truth, we are remembering ourselves. And now, I turn to you. What did your symbol reveal? What truth inside you has begun to stir? You don't need to answer with words, but feel it, hold it, and let it guide you gently home. So, which symbol found you today? And more importantly, how did it make you feel? Did something stir within you? Did a memory rise from a quiet place you hadn't visited in years? Did a truth whisper itself not to your ears, but to your soul? Whatever you felt, honor it. Don't rush to name it or explain it. Let it settle. Let it teach you slowly, in silence. And if you feel called, I invite you to share what arose for you in the comments below. Sometimes, the simple act of speaking from the heart can become a mirror not only for yourself, but for someone else who is quietly walking the same path. And if this journey touched something in you, if the symbols, the stories, or the silence between the words helped you feel just a little more seen, a little more still, then I welcome you to stay with us. Subscribe to Lotus of Dharma, not because you should, but because you wish to continue walking this path of inner truth, gentle awakening, and karmic remembrance. We will walk together through many symbols, many teachings, many lifetimes, each one bringing us closer to the one thing we never truly left, our own radiant center. May your day be calm. May your breath be steady. And may your life, this life, be filled with a light that rises not from outside, but from deep within. Until next time, be well, dear one.